Good morning. Hello, everybody. My name is Chrissy, and today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 8th of June. Wow, we're on the turn now. The year's really rolling out. Just firstly, I just wanted to quickly apologise to Danielle. I accidentally deleted your beautiful message off yesterday. I would never do that intentionally. You know that I wouldn't. So thank you for rewriting that for me. I went to edit something and it all just, I'm not the most digitally savvy person, so you just have to bear with me sometimes. Now, I'll just get started. If you're new to my channel, I just let my guides channel through to you. So we'll just get started and see what comes up for the 8th of June. Now, I'm getting the message of like, they're saying like secondhand rose, but what they're showing me is this person walking around an old vintage clothing store. So it's a very old, you could call it a vintage store or a secondhand shop, and they're looking at all the furniture. So if we think about this image, to me, it actually, it represents memories. So they're showing me the person's hand touching the furniture. It's emoting in her, it's feelings. So it's feelings, and it's that, you know, when you go into an old vintage store or a secondhand shop, it has a real mustiness. There's like this old smell of it. It's kind of like old, I guess you could say energy, but it's an odor that comes with a secondhand shop or a vintage store. But this person's like touching all the old beautiful fabrics, and they're running their hand over the old wooden chairs, and they're admiring the beauty and the skill and the, I guess you could call it the dying art of making things, and how things are very well made, and they're, you know, things are hand woven. You know, when you look at the beautiful upholsteries, they're showing me like the velvet flowers on the top of the chair upholstery, and the beautiful timber, and how it's very ornate in the chairs. I'm getting this kind of imagery, and I'm getting the very fine bone china like in the cabinetry. And there's this, if we think about it, it's the skill, and it's kind of showing me through the eyes of this person. They're just like in awe of the way things were so beautifully made and sort of crafted. And that's why I'm getting that image today. They're saying it's not like the production line of sort of Kmart and Walmart or wherever you might be living. It's not that production line of just all packaged in a box, and, you know, it lasts about a year, and then all the crockery gets chucked out, and the furniture falls apart. You know, there's sort of, what they're saying is there's kind of no depth to anything anymore. Now, this is sort of, I guess you could say, with the vintage shop, this is, there's not, it doesn't have that depth anymore. Life in the material world doesn't have the depth anymore. But saying that, if you're watching my video, we're bringing that back to our lives. We're bringing depth and courage, like you, Danielle. We're bringing depth and courage back to our lives. Now, this is what I'm getting with this vintage shop visual and the secondhand kind of shop. Not all of it, but a lot of it, there was a lot of depth to the sort of furniture and the creations, and there's a lot of detail as well. Now, when you think about it, some of these people that made these beautiful old wooden tables or chairs, they spent hours and hours of time molding things, scratching away at the wood. You know, these were their passions, and this was their creativity flowing out. And nowadays it's all like production line, you know, made by robots in the factory, and there's no depth to pretty much anything. And this isn't just in the vintage shop, this crosses over into our lives as well. God, they make prefabricated houses now. I've got some being made up the street here, and they just dump this huge big cement block, and it's like a whole wall of the house. It's like so bizarre. It's all like prefabbed and prefabricated in the factories now. So this is kind of why I'm getting this imagery. But what the guides are saying is that we're bringing back those old skills and those old memories from the past, and we're starting to get more creative. We're starting to find more depth in our life, in a good way. I'm not saying we overthink things and that there's too much complexity, even though we know there is too much complexity at the moment. We're just trying to find that depth of for example, our purpose, our courage, our tenacity. These are the depths that we're now finding, and that's why it's like showing us someone walking around in this vintage shop trying to take in and absorb sort of the memories from the past. So it's almost like we're looking at the past to go forward in the future. Now, this is about you guys watching my video. And this could be about you as an individual too, that you've got to look at your past in order to keep going with your future. So that's the message I'm kind of getting today. Now, if I think an example of my journey and what sort of I've been through, I remember as a child, I loved my dogs. I grew up in quite a hostile family. My dad was a little aggressive. He was an aggressive drunk. And my dogs always gave me safety and made me feel secure. So when I went as an adult through very challenging and difficult times, I got my 2 rescue dogs, which as Sprocket and Sophie. And because I knew how much that dog had helped me get through difficult times back then. Well, I had 3 dogs when I was a kid. Now, that's just an example. You'll have other things. I'm just using this just to give you that kind of way to tap into your older memories that can help you to feel safer, stronger, more courageous. And when I got these 2 dogs, it's kind of like so I got Sprocket first, and he was very damaged and traumatized. He had a drug owner who was an ice addict, and he went to jail, and that's how I ended up getting him. And he and I both like needed each other at the same time. I was going through some really big changes, and he was going through changes, and we sort of came together when we needed each other, and then Sophie came along later. But I had to go back to that memory, and I also wanted my teenage kids to experience the love of a dog, because there, as you know, a lot of you guys out there have got dogs. There's nothing like the love of a dog. It gives you something just that no one else can give you. It's completely different to sort of human love. It's just got this energy, and it's always upbeat, and they're always happy to see you, and they never judge you. There's just this beautiful exchange. So that was a memory that I had to go back to in order to sort of bring myself forward into a happier place. You might have other things from your past that you've sort of forgotten about that you might need to sort of revisit, or there might be new things too. I'm not saying there's not, but this is why they're showing me that vintage shop today. We need to get back to our creative places and get those juices flowing and get the passions back into our life and do the things we really love. And look, I always talk a lot, I know, in my videos about distracting yourself, but distraction is the best way to keep yourself moving forward. I talk about on this video all the time when we're going through a bit of chaotic times, or things are, perfect example is now all the interest rates are going up around globally. House prices are going through the roof. People are freaking out. The cost of living, can't buy a lettuce here. It's like $10 to buy a lettuce here, which is a lot. So it's all getting like crazy and out of control now. So people are having to look, and this is what I keep saying, these people waking up are having to look at what is currently going on. Because suddenly all these conspiracies and the things that all of us have been beating the drum about are suddenly starting to be put in front of them. They have to look at it. You can't turn away now, because it's starting to affect every aspect of their lives. So this is kind of what I'm getting to. Like when we go like behind the fence, I always talk about us going behind the fence and protecting ourselves when we need to, because that's how we do it. We distract ourselves. We go and we do the things we love. We might go for that bike ride, or we might go walk the dogs, or we might go and cook a beautiful meal. I know you guys cook meals. You might sit around a campfire. Gosh, we do all sorts of things, gardening, guitar. That's why we go behind the fence, because that's how we distract ourselves. But we're also getting back to our memories and our the things that uplift our spirit and our soul. And that's how we get through these really challenging times. Now, that's the message that I'm definitely getting today around this like vintage clothing store or this secondhand shop. It's very important that you start to tune into your gifts, the abilities that you have, sometimes just getting back to basics as well. But it's about going back through your past and finding and picking out those things that always made you feel alive inside. And, it doesn't matter what that is, but sometimes you might have to revisit those things. And they can bring you into that now moment. And that's why creativity, doing our passions, it brings us back into that now moment, because it stops our mind from racing away. We're able to just, for 2 hours maybe, if we're out gardening or we're playing guitar. I think you've got a gig, haven't you, Dan, soon coming up? That 2 hours, you're there with your audience and you're playing that guitar, for example. So these are the examples of how we interrupt and we distract our mind from all the clutter and nonsense that's going on around us. And that's a very strong message today, is that anyone watching my videos, it's very important that you do the things that can distract your mind from the, I guess we could call it, garbage. They're showing me a big trash can with all the garbage. Oh, they're showing me, if anyone watches Sesame Street, they're showing me, is it Oscar the Grouch that lives in the garbage can? Oh, God. They're showing me him taking all the garbage off you and just chucking it in the trash. That's what we want to do, don't we? We could just want Oscar to take all the garbage away. Anyway, that's what they're kind of saying. We've got to really look at our passions and the things that bring us to life. But I think, look, to be honest, I think a lot of you guys out there are doing that anyway, because we talk about our Terrabella and the new world that we've created, and it's feeling great. We're really enjoying life. We're enjoying every day. We're not dwelling on all the stupid garbage that's being like constantly thrown at us and trying to like smother us. We're not falling for that. We just kind of flick it away. It's not even hard. If anything, we laugh at it, don't we? God, I don't think anything could be as bad as the experience that we've just had in the last 2.5 years, could it? I'll see what else we get today. I'm getting this. God, I always get songs, don't I? And I know most of you guys will know this song by Barbara Streisand, Memories. It's such a beautiful song. It was a great movie too. I think it was from The Way We Were. Yeah. I think it's The Way We Were is the song. Is that the song? Yeah, it is. It's The Way We Were. That's interesting, isn't it? So, I talk a lot about us having gone through grief for our old life and the things that we've experienced in our life. And look, any sort of loss, whether it be, for example, in the song, it's about her and Robert Redford, I think. And any loss like that is very heartbreaking and it's very hard. But the way we were in this circumstance is about the way our lives were. Now, that grief, and I said that, for a lot of us, and I know in Canada I actually talked about that, we went through a lot of the grief process of losing not only our old lives, but we lost friends. Some of you I know lost family, and not lost just family because of mandates and different things like that, and because of our decision-making processes, but some people lost families due to injuries. People have had a lot of medical issues. There's a lot of sadness and things going on. People have lost their jobs after 30 years, for example, being a teacher, working with kids. These are all things we've had to endure in the last 2.5 years, and we've had to grieve. And, when we get this song, The Way We Were by Barbara Streisand, it's such a beautiful and emotional song. It is about the sadness and looking back at your old life and how it was, So tap on and check that song out today. I think it might emote a few emotions and bring them to the surface. But there's nothing wrong with that sort of thing too. Feeling emotions is good. But now, like I've been saying to you, we've sort of moved through a lot of that grief. And now these people waking up are having to deal with their grief because they're realizing that they're being taken down a road that they can't turn back from. Unless they find that strength and that will to stand up against government and fight back against these things. Now, the way that the cost of living is coming at them is starting to really frighten them. Of course, we've got the old fear coming up again, as usual. It's almost strange, isn't it? I know if you're watching my video, we know that's coming at us too, but I think it's because we had that preparedness. We were prepared and we knew it was coming. So it's like we're not overwhelmed by it. Yes, it will affect us, but it almost, and I'd love to hear your comments down below. Let me know how you're feeling, but it feels like we're like not really in that loop. Like it feels like we are kind of detached from all those things coming towards us. I can't kind of explain it. Even though it is real and we know it's coming, but there's also this, I would say, lack of fear. We really don't have that fear around what is being fed to us, and it's very strange. It's very hard to explain. Even for me, it's hard to explain that feeling. But this is what is now happening to these people waking up. They're starting to become very overwhelmed, and they are realizing that their old lives, which they were told after 2 jabs, your life will get back to normal after 2 weeks lockdown, and your life will be normal. And now we're heading into the 3-year mark really now, and their life is going downhill on a very slippery slide, and it feels like they've got no control now. And these are the people that are still waking up. Not us, not if you're watching my video. This is the people waking up. So they're starting to grieve now. They're starting to grieve and panic because they know their old life is going, and it's pretty much gone. And so they're going through that the way we were, because they know now. And like I said the other day, these people that vilified a lot of us, for example, nurses, doctors, medical facilities and things like this, now they're understaffed. Now they're overworked. They're going through their experience where they're where they're realizing that these old nurses and that aren't coming back to support them and help them. And why would they? They were so vilified and ostracized. Just an example, I'm using the nurses. There's many other industries as well. God, ambulance, fireys, teachers, you name it. There's a whole list. We could go on for a long time. Hospitality suffered big time, didn't they? A lot of those got ostracized as well. But this is what's happening now. They're having to wake up because now they realise their old lives are gone. It's not all easy street and everything's great and we're on our tower and our big pedestal because the government fed us all these rewards. And God, the government's still trying to do that here. I was telling you the other day about the ambulance strikes in Australia and everything that's going on. And now they've given them a bonus $3,000 reward for working so hard during the pandemic. And they're all still angry about it. They're angry about that because that's not what they want. They don't want the money. See, they're realising the money's not making any difference because the price of living's going up. They want the staff back. But now it's too late. And they chose that path. They ostracise and vilify these people. So this is the stuff that's now starting to wake them up because they realise their lives have changed forever. They're working so hard now. They're exhausted. Their lives aren't easy, cruisy street. Their life's not normal. It wasn't the 2 weeks lockdown and we're all back to normal. Like I said, nearly 3 years into this, and they're still struggling. So now they're going through that grieving process, The Way We Were by Barbara Streisand. Go and check that song out today. I think it'll have a lot of impact. It'll take us probably back to a memory too, because if we connect that to the vintage shop in the very beginning of this video and the secondhand shop, that is the way we were. But we're, funny as it is, we're finding ways and we're getting back to the way we were, but we're getting back to a way that's even better. It's very strange, isn't it? We've found a way to bring joy back into our life and to navigate around all the stupidity and nonsense. But now this is the journey. And that's why I always say it is the awakening process, because we all have to wake up at our own pace. But now these people are going through the grieving process. And that can take time. As we know, it's probably taken us probably a good year or more to go through our grief. And then finally, it's almost like, and I'm guessing this is probably true for you guys out there as well, it's like, because our vibration has changed so dramatically, if we look back at who we were in the very beginning when this all started, when we first saw it in China, to who we are now, this is you watching my video, we're completely different people. We have changed so much. We just feel more grounded. We feel more stable. We're feeling stronger. We're feeling we can sort of face pretty much anything. I don't think we'd get overwhelmed by anything anymore, because we've all got each other and we all have a laugh and a giggle, if anything. And, you know, as much as it's friggin' serious, isn't it, sometimes? Oh, we still do have to laugh because it just doesn't even seem real. And it's by our vibration having changed so dramatically from, you know, back then to now, that we went through the grieving process, we went through the anger, we went through the hurts, we've gone through pretty much, I think, every emotion. There wouldn't be much left. We probably cried on the floor in the fetal position. We probably did that too. And now we've just come to this like peaceful place, like, well, we're probably like Eckhart Tolle. Most of you know Eckhart out there. He's a master guru of teaching you to live in the now. And now we've become like that. We're actually living in the now and we're enjoying our life and we're enjoying Terra Bella, and we've created our own space. Like, what a wonderful thing that we've finally found some peace in all this like absolute chaos and madness. But we're over here. And I'm very proud of you guys out there. I'm proud of me too. Like, we've worked really hard to get there. And because our vibration has lifted so much and changed so much, it's almost, and I'm sure you guys have experienced, let me know if you have, but it's like those people who vilified us and ostracized us and, you know, it's like they've just drifted away. I don't even see my friends anymore. And I was very close to my friends. Like, we did everything. And now I live in a small rural town and I don't even see them. It's almost like the guides keep them away from me, or they've vibrated away, that they're on a different reality maybe, that I don't see them anymore. But I just don't see them. It's very strange. It's just another one of those experiences that you guys are probably going through as well. So this is what I'm definitely getting today. You know, there's a lot of things that we can look back at and keep still moving ourselves forward, but there's nothing wrong with connecting to old memories and things from the past too, because, you know, sometimes it has that warmth to it and those feelings, and sort of sometimes it can be those feelings of being cared for and kindness, and sometimes our old memories aren't all bad, is probably what the guides are trying to say to us today, that sometimes we've got to pick out the ones that are good and take them with us and put them behind the fence. And, you know, shut the gate, keep everything contained in there, but that's our little memories and our safe places. And that's why I'm getting that vintage store and the secondhand store today. You know, it's fun sometimes going to those places, isn't it? And just finding some little treasures or things that remind you of your childhood. You know, I went to a few recently, and some of the things that are in there, you just, you know, it's really funny because I walk around with my daughter and she's 13. I know some of you guys have got daughters out there and teenage kids as well. And like, they'll have the dial phone or something and she goes, oh my gosh, what is this? Like, she can't even imagine that the world without a mobile phone, you know, and she'll see something like that, or a typewriter or something like that, the old typewriters, you know, it's funny. So, you know, it's well worth walking through some of those places sometimes and just having a look. And it's like a little bit of a museum, really, if you go back in time. But some of those memories are good memories. You know, our past don't always have to be just bad memories. Like I said, mine was my dogs. I used to lay with my dogs. My mum would find me in the kennel with the dogs sometimes, you know, and that's my example. You guys will have different things. But look, that's what I'm definitely getting today. I'm getting that these people who have, seriously, like I said about the bowling alley and them being knocked over like the Skittles in the bowling alley yesterday, they are being forced to look and see all this now because it's too big. And this is about things coming out and being exposed. They're being exposed. And I'm going to leave you with that today, because we know things are being exposed. It's fantastic. It's what we've all put our energy on and been manifesting, and know it's happening. You know, it's a gradual process, and that's fine. Because, like I said, we want them to get all the information. We don't want them to get snippets and then go, oh, it's all conspiracies, and shove it to the side. We need these people to wake up. And I tell you what, they're waking up. So go and watch that song today, by Barbara Streisand, Memories. I love that song. I even love the movie A Star Is Born. Oh my God, my sister and I absolutely loved it. She's got the most incredible voice, that woman. So look, take care everybody. Go and play that song. I think you'll really enjoy it. And look, we've moved through all that, but it's still nice to look back at our memories, isn't it? So take care. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell notification too, so you know when my videos pop up. Hit the like buttons. Have a wonderful day, and please comment. You know that I love hearing from you. And take care. I'll say goodbye from Australia. Bye.